Was good, y'all? Red Sosa back in a building with another banger. Now, first things first, before we go ahead and get started, I just want to say thank you, God, for another day and another opportunity. Now, if it's your first time coming through, be sure to hit that sub button if you're new. Now, as y'all can see from the looks of the title and the screen, today I'm going to be showing y'all how to create the best two-way three-point shot creator build on NBA 2K23 Next Gen. Now, I'm telling y'all, this is going to be the best Season 2 build when it comes down to the point guard position. So before we get any further into today's video, I would appreciate it if everybody went ahead and commented down TG for thank God, as well as where are you tuning in from watching today, and I most definitely got y'all with a response. Now let's go ahead and get into the breakdown of this build. I'm going to make it under the point guard position. Now when it comes down to the body settings, I'm telling y'all this is going to be one of the main factors on this build. So I'm going to go with the height of 6'8" today instead of 6'9". I know a lot of people did like 6'9" with Season 1, but then when it comes down to the weight, I'm going to bring this to 200 pounds exactly. Now with the wingspan, I'm going to go with 7'5", and we're going to be all set to go. Now for the body shape, if you want to take up the most space, I would really consider going with built. But again, if you want to go with defined or raise your weight to unlock burly, that's another option that you can go with as well. Now from here, I think this build is set out to be perfect. Let's go ahead and first get into the breakdown of the physicals. Now anytime that I get into the physicals first, it's only because I want to be sure that I'm giving y'all an idea of what the build is actually able to do. So when it comes down to my speed, I'm going to go with the 73. You can max this out to your own liking, but again, this all comes down to your own preference on how you want to go about it. Now when it comes down to my acceleration, I'm going to go with an 80. Now going into the new season, I feel like a lot of people are thinking that 6'9" are going to be the meta. Now I believe that when new dribble packages are going to be able to get unlocked throughout each season, that's when we're going to see the meta change even more. But back to this build, when it comes down to the vertical, I'm going to bring this up to a 75, and I'm telling you right now, we're going to be able to get contact dunks out of this build. Now with the stamina, I'm going to bring this up to a 90, and that's going to set us out to be perfect. Now the first area that I'm going to get into is going to be the finishing. For my standing dunk, I'm going to go with the 69. Then when it comes down to the breakdown of the driving dunk, you have to go ahead and put this to an 86. Now again, if you want to change any of the numbers of this build, you can do so, but do it after we create the build name together. Now right here, we get 17 badges for the finishing. Now for tier 1, the main badges that I'm looking at, we get Hall of Fame Pro Touch as well as Giant Slayer. Then when it comes down to tier 2, I like the fact that we do get Silver Fearless Finisher and Aerial Wizard. Now for tier 3, I'm happy that we get Posterizer on Silver. Now we're also going to be able to equip Limitless Takeoff as our core badge, and then I'm happy that we also get Slithery. Now when it comes down to the shooting, this is another solid area of this build. So for the mid-range, I'm going to go with the 74. Now when it comes down to the three-pointer, I'm going to raise this up to an 85, and that right there is going to give us a total of 20 badges. Now for the free throw, I'm going to go with an 80. Now for the tier 1 badges, we get 5 Hall of Fame, 3 Gold, and the main ones that I'm looking at are Gold Amped and Midi Magician. Then from there, we also get Space Creator and Volume Shooter. Now for tier 2, I'm happy that we get Agent 3 on Silver at least, but then we also get Gold Green Machine, Guard Up, and then Corner Specialist. Now for tier 3, Catch and Shoot is pretty solid, but I'm more excited about Silver Blinders, Jedi, and Limitless Range. Now as you can see, I'm really only upgrading the main areas of the finishing and the shooting, being the three-pointer and the driving dunk. When it comes down to the playmaking, you're going to see the same exact trend follow through. So for my ball handle, I'm going to go with an 89, and this right there gives us the ability to get quick first step on Hall of Fame. Now when it comes down to the pass accuracy, I'm going to go with the 74. Then when it comes down to the speed with ball, I'm going to go with the 77, and right there we get 21 badges. Now as you can see for tier 1, we get Hall of Fame Ankle Breaker, then we also get Gold Hyperdrive. The rest of the badges here are pretty solid for tier 1. Now for tier 2, we're also able to get a good amount of badges in this area. I like the fact, like I said, we get Hall of Fame Quick First Step. Bailout is going to be a good badge as well, and then we're also able to get Gold Vice Grip. Now for tier 3, I'm happy that we get Clamp Breaker, Killer Combos, Unpluckable, and then Handles for Days. Now again, the playmaking is solely based out to my own liking and preference. So if you want to go with the higher pass accuracy, you definitely can do so, but I'm going to leave it at 21 badges. Now when it comes down to the defensive end, this is another essential area of the build that you need to focus on. So with the interior defense, I'm going to go with the 71. Then for the perimeter, I'm going to bring this up all the way to an 89. Now if you want to, you can definitely change any of the defensive numbers up, but I'm focusing mainly on the perimeter defense, my steal, and then the block. Now when it comes down to this area, I'm going to go with the 95. And we're also going to be able to unlock gold glove. Now for the block, I'm going to go ahead and put this up to an 87. And this is pretty much what the build is going to be looking like. The only area left over is going to be the defensive rebound. Now when it comes down to the defensive rebound, I'm going to put this to a 74. And right there, it brings us up to a total of 23 badges. Now for tier 1, as you can see, we get Hall of Fame ankle braces, off-ball pest, and then we're also able to get silver box out beast and then bronze brick wall. Now menace and workhorse are pretty good badges as well. Now when it comes down to tier 2, I'm happy that we get chase down artist, interceptor, and then glove. Now for tier 3, we get silver anchor, clamps, bronze rebound chaser, and then gold challenger. Now in total, we get 81 badges. I think with the height of 6'8", 200 pounds, 7'5" wingspan, pretty solid for a point guard build, but even more so, this can be considered a lockdown point. Now overall, the takeovers are going to play a huge factor in this build, but remember, we get pro dribble moves and contact dunks. So already, as you can see, we'll be able to get into the 99 range when it comes down to our steal. Block possibly, same thing with the perimeter defense. Now when it comes down to the ball handle and the three-pointer, the same thing can be applied here. And then when it comes down to the driving dunk, you really need to take into consideration the plus 10 that we get from activating our takeovers. Now if you buy your own boost, that's plus 4. But if you do run with teammates that do have on floor general, that's going to be a plus 8 with your own boost included. So from here, let's take a quick look at the takeovers. We get the slashing first, the second one, shot creating. After that, we get the sharpshooting, and then to wrap it up, we get the defensive. So however you do decide to go about it, make sure it's to your own play style. So if you want to be able to get a 99 plus driving dunk, the first takeover that I would pick would be the finishing moves. Now if you want to be able to get that 99 plus 3-point shot, I would have to go with sharpshooting takeover, and that's going to be limitless range. And now when it comes down to the defensive end, if you want to get that 99 plus steal and perimeter defense, possibly with the block, I would really consider picking one of the lockdowns. Now the badge that I think is going to be best for these is going to be perimeter badge drop, and these are going to be the two main takeovers that I would go with. From here, let's go ahead and check out the build to make sure that we made it correctly. And as y'all can see, we get Lonzo Ball as a comparison, Penny Hardaway, and now together we have created the two-way 3-point shot creator build. Now there's a few different players that this archetype reminds me of. Of course, Penny Hardaway, but also a little bit of Tracy McGrady and LeBron James from Miami Heat. Now again, if you did mess with this build, be sure to go ahead and let me know in the comments. But be sure to go ahead and smash that like button. I would highly appreciate that. Now from here, we're going to go ahead and check out which 99 stats we're going to be able to get on this build. So with the plus 4 from buying your own boost, then another plus 4 from running with teammates that do have on floor general. With our takeovers added in, we'll be able to get a 100 plus driving dunk, 3-point shot, possibly the free throw, ball handle if you did decide to go with the playmaking takeover. Then we'll also be able to get a 100 plus perimeter defense, steal, and possibly the block. Now if you did make this build exactly how I brought it to y'all, you should be getting these exact numbers. But from here, let's go ahead and get into the breakdown of the badges. So for tier 1, we have some solid badges to pick from. The first one that I'm going to go with is going to be Gold Giant Slayer. Now from there, I'm also going to go with Hall of Fame Pro Touch. Now that's going to set us up for tier 1. When it comes down to tier 2, I'm going to go with Silver Fearless Finisher. One of my favorite badges, especially when it comes down to getting layup animations. And then for tier 3, I'm going to go with Gold Core Limitless Takeoff. And then for the 6 remaining badge points, I'm going to go ahead and put on Silver Posterizer. Now I think this is a perfect setup. You get Limitless Takeoff and Posterizer both equipped. Then when it comes down to tier 2, I think out of all 3 of these badges that are left over, Fearless Finisher stands close to none of them. Then when it comes down to tier 1, you need Pro Touch as well as Giant Slayer. Both of these are going to work hand in hand with each other. Now from here, let's go ahead and get into the shooting. For tier 1, the first badge I'm going to go with is going to be Gold Amped. Then from there, I'm also going to go with Hall of Fame Space Creator. Now a lot of people would go with Volume Shooter. It really comes down to your own preference. For me, I think Space Creator is better for my own playstyle. I'm also going to go ahead and put on Agent 3 on Silver. Now you cannot forget about Green Machine, and then I'm going to go with Gold Guard Up. Now we're able to unlock tier 3 from here, and the only badge that I'm going to put on as a core is going to be Silver Limitless Range. Now for this shooting, I pretty much went with all the badges that are going to boost our shooting percentage. Now one change that you can make is if you go with Space Creator or Volume Shooter, make sure that you're picking one or the other. But again, both of these can be on the Hall of Fame tier. Now let's go ahead and move on to the playmaking. This is another strong area. So for the playmaking on tier 1, I'm going to go with Gold Hyperdrive. From there, Just to be able to unlock the tier 3, I'm going to go with bronze special delivery. And then when it comes down to tier 2, I'm going to go with Hall of Fame quick first step. And now we're able to unlock the tier 3 badges. So the way that I'm going to go about it, first, bronze clamp breaker. Second, I'm going to go ahead and put on handles for days on silver. And then when it comes down to killer combos, I'm going to put this as my gold core badge. Now again, this is all based to my own preference and liking. But I feel like clamp breaker, handles for days, and killer combos are going to be essential. Now, if you do add on extra badges towards this build, down the road, we're going to be able to also equip Unpluckable. Now, there's definitely different setups that you can go with for this build, but I feel like when it comes down to the playmaking, this is going to be the most essential area that you want to copy. Now, from here, let's go ahead and get into the defensive end. So for tier 1, the only badge that I'm going to run is going to be Box Out Beast on silver. For tier 2, I'm going to go with gold Chase Down Artist, Glove, as well as Interceptor. Now, this right here, I'm telling y'all, super overpowered lineup for tier 2. Then when it comes down to tier 3, I'm going to go with Silver Anchor. Then we have one final badge remaining, and I'm going to go with Challenger on gold. Now, if you wanted to, you can go with Clamps or even Rebound Chaser. But I think the setup for the defensive end is pretty toxic. Super overpowered at that, especially with Glove and Interceptor both on gold. Then when it comes down to tier 3, we still have all the badges that we need. Now overall, I think this is the best point guard build coming in season 2. But again, if you've seen this build made this way or differently, let me know in the comments what would you change about it, as well as what do you think. But again, man, if it was your first time coming through, be sure to hit that sub button if you're new. Turn on post notifications to be a part of the Rich family. And I would appreciate it if everybody went ahead and smashed that like button. But man, God bless y'all. Thank you, God, for another day and another opportunity. And with all that being said, man, I got one last thing to say. Rich out.